Hey everyone, welcome to the weekly quick tip. I am really excited to talk with you today about tips for virtual interviews. As the pandemic continues, we're thinking that maybe the landscape of interviewing has changed and virtual interviews will become more and more prevalent. So it's always good to be prepared. So today we're going to walk through the before, during, and after for your virtual interview, as well as what to do in case a crisis happens. So before your interview, you want to make sure you get clarification on the interview platform that the employer will be using. So are they using Zoom? Are they using Teams? Are they using Skype, Google Hangouts? Um, by having that clarification, you'll be able to research the platform, make sure it works with your laptop or your tablet, gives you a chance to set up an account if you need to, and also practice, get used to where things are on the screen, so you know what you can adjust and when and where. Um, Make sure you have a strong internet connection, or if you are maybe going to a library and using space there, make sure they have a strong internet connection that you can use. Um, again, making sure that if it's a public Wi-Fi, that it's not going to be hacked or anything like that. And take the time to do your research. Of course, like you would before any interview, understand their company, understand the position, read up on the person or persons who will be interviewing you, and go through some practice questions. And of course, make sure you have questions ready for them too. You are interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you. So make sure that it feels like a conversation in that regard. And of course, prepare your space. Make sure that the wall behind you is blank, a neutral color. Um, Make sure you don't have anything distracting in the background. Make sure it's going to be quiet for you. If you're living with other people, make sure they know, hey, I have this interview coming up. Please, keep the music or the TV down. Um, Tell your friends, not to call you or put your phone on do not disturb. Um, just make sure you have a really quiet, neutral, serene place, to have your interview in. During the interview, you want to make sure you join a few minutes early. A lot of times they will have like a waiting room set up, so you won't be actually in the interview 5 minutes early, but at least you'll be logged in and you know that you're where you need to be, just like you wouldn't show up, at 2:59 for a 3 o'clock interview in person. You want to make sure you have that, window buffer, um, before your interview online as well. Of course, you want to dress professionally from the top to the bottom. Make sure you have, your dress pants on, or, you aren't wearing your sweatpants or pajamas, just in case you would need to stand up or do anything during the interview, that they, will see that you are fully prepared and fully dressed professionally. On the flip side, you want to be sure that you are cognizant of what color you're wearing, so making sure you're not wearing anything too bright, that could be distorted by the screen, or be aware of any patterns that maybe, may look not as clear through a screen. Elevate your camera. Make sure that you are talking to the camera and not the screen. So wherever your recording is, make sure you are looking there. If you are looking at the screen, you won't be making eye contact. And of course, that's a big part of any interview, in person or virtual. So make sure you're taking the time to really look and make a connection with the camera, because then on the interviewer's screen, it will look like you are looking right at them. Of course, when they're talking to you, you may certainly look at the screen, and give your eyes a break in that regard. Be sure you're in a quiet place. Again, make sure your phone's on do not disturb. Make sure the TV's turned off. Make sure the neighbors won't be banging around, or you won't have a dog barking. Um, do whatever you can to negate any noise that may pop up, and make sure you're plugged in. My recommendation is to use a laptop or a tablet. Phones can get very difficult to try and hold and manipulate if you need to. If you use a tablet, again, make sure it's on a stand, so that you don't have to hold it. But I mean, make sure that it's plugged in, it's got a full battery, it's not going to die on you in the middle of an interview, so that if the interview runs longer than you expect, you don't have to worry about that conking out. Of course, after the interview, make sure you take the time to thank each person individually. So if you are being interviewed by 3 or 4 people at one time, make sure you say, "Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Janice." Um, take the time to acknowledge each of them, and then also send each person a follow-up email thanking them as well. The benefit of doing a video interview is that typically their names will be on the screen with them, so that will make it a little easier to follow up afterwards. And of course, don't celebrate until you've completely closed out. You may feel like the interview went really well, and you're super excited, but you don't want to get too excited too early. And make sure that you are closed out before you stand up or move around, anything like that. So those are all tips for before, during, and after the interview. And of course, it's always good to be prepared. So some just in case scenarios. In case of noise, maybe you live near a fire department and you can hear their sirens going off. Maybe they're doing construction on the street outside. Acknowledge it. Say, "I really apologize. Here's the situation. Um, this is what's going on." If it's something that you don't think will last long, for example, a dog barking, apologize and hit mute. Ask if you can wait for a couple seconds before you continue the conversation and hit mute. In case there's an intrusion, maybe your roommate walks in as you're in the middle of the interview. Again, apologize. Say, "Give me a minute. I'll take care of this." Mute and turn off your camera so that you can kindly ask your roommate to leave. In case there's a lost connection, maybe your Wi-Fi drops out, or you lose your sound but not the video, contact them by phone right away. Ask if they would like to continue doing the interview by phone or if they would like to reschedule the interview completely, and apologize for the inconvenience. If you're concerned there may be an issue, for example, that the trash people will be coming to pick up your trash, at some point this afternoon, and they're usually pretty noisy. Address it right away at the beginning. Say, "I really apologize. There may be some noise in the background. They haven't picked up our trash yet. I just wanted you to be aware that that might be something that takes place. We're all going through this situation together. We're all acknowledging that working from home isn't necessarily as easy as we would like it to be. It's a matter of handling it professionally rather than trying to act like, everything's totally normal." If you have any questions or if you want to practice for an interview that's coming up, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always happy to help you. Have a great day, have a great week, and take care.